like to call the Village of Webster regular meeting September 13th in order, and if you would stand with me please for the Pledge of Allegiance. Heather, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will you be seated? First, I would like to just express my thanks to those who came out from the community for the 9/11 ceremony. Appreciate your coming out. I want to thank those who spoke, Senator Helming, Assemblyman Mark Johns, Steve Andrews, former chief, and of course of the Genesee did an outstanding job. And really appreciate all that was there. Thank you, gentlemen, also for coming. Jerry and Carl, and thank you for your efforts. Heather?
Daryl, I have to say that you did a very very good job. Your speech was very well spoken. So.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Appreciate that. It's something that I think we need to keep in mind, as I said, is there's a generation right now, 12th grade and under, that we're not alive really for 9/11, and I think it's important that we keep that, keep it alive.
There was also some like joggers flying in, flying by, flying back.
There were.
Flying by, uphill on the way back, they were going a little slower.
Yeah, a couple of them were walking up the hill. Anyway, thank you. All right, I'd like to...
You can be free to join us anytime there.
I'd be walking.
I'd be downhill homing part.
Anyway, I'd like to open up for public comment. If anybody would like to address the board, I think maybe right over here, or from where you are. Oh, there's the podium, right?
Yep, right next to me.
Okay, if there is nobody who wishes to address the board, I'm meeting a little shorter, then we'll move right now into village board business. You have the minutes for the board meeting August 23rd. Does anybody have any questions pertaining to them? You're up on the website, you have a chance to look them over. If there are no questions regarding the minutes for September 23rd, I would ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Abolito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy? Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have a motion to approve the September 4th workshop meeting minutes. This is where we had a discussion on the charging station, and I guess I'll have to ask a little bit later how that's going. We talked about the employee funding as well, and employee reviews. So I have a chance to look those over. I would entertain a motion if there are no questions regarding it to accept those minutes for the workshop of September 4th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Abolito?
No, that's fine. I'm
Oh, sorry. Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I couldn't read it.
Next, we have our claims and warrants, and I just finished looking those over. The only one question I guess I had, I answered the question as I kept on going as to what was wrong with truck 7. Why was it towed to Massillon and it could not be driven there? I see it was a fuel tank that was repaired or replaced, right?
Yep, there was a fuel tank
Towed?
leaking. They took it out there, got it repaired, we're driving it back, and the engine wouldn't get up to speed. So they stopped, and we changed on the side of the road, a fuel, seemed like a fuel filter. Did that change, it got going again, got up to speed, and then dogged right out again. The gentleman thinks that it's basically the fuel pump. He said, the return fuel was getting kind of hot, and so we parked it and got it towed back out to the shop for that repair.
I was just wondering. So a leaky tank, you could probably drive it out there, but I didn't know that, so thank you. That was the answer to my question. Jared, do you have any,
Yeah, just
questions? I know you looked at it.
the safety glasses.
For Kevin?
Kevin?
Yeah.
$163.
Yep, there's, in the contract, will provide safety glasses once a year, especially down there, they get them sooted up or scratched up a lot, so he's got new glasses, and it's I think 70, I have to look at exactly, but it's 75, I think, for single vision, and then bifocals are a certain rate a little higher than progressives are higher than that, and I think if they're progressives or bifocals, I think it's about 130 is the
It
reimbursement.
says progressive.
Progressive, so I think that's 130, but don't quote me, so anything over that, you would reimburse.
Okay. Very interesting.
And I just had one, it was on page 6, and it was a roof rail.
Yes, that was for, when we had a safety inspection from our workers' comp
Yeah.
company, that was easy to say. There's, the roof on the digester building, there's access to that, provided so you can get up on,
Yep.
there's the heat exchanger exhaust up there, there's other equipment up on the roof, and you get access to the digesters themselves through that. So that building, they said they wanted to see a railing around the roof on that building, so we walked off of it.
Thank you.
There is one item that I will bring to your attention, and that is payment to Macedon Excavating and Paving. I believe that is, how many I know it's there, but it's on your bill pay. I'm looking for it on the bill pay.
Yeah, it's on the bottom of page 5.
Right, thank you. Capital, okay, Macedon Excavating. For the North Avenue project, I would like to make payment of that conditional. I have been informed that they are not currently up to date with EBO, which is an accounting keeps track of the disability business enterprises. That they are up to date on, as we had a discussion with that recently. They are in compliance with that, but also it tracks minority and youth and women that are required. There are certain requirements, and they are not, whoever is putting that into the spreadsheet or whatever is not up to date. So I want to hold that until they are up to date. So we're gonna make the $48,097.15. I'd like to make that conditional upon proof of compliance in terms of being up to date with those entries. Okay. So we'll just hold them to, or as they look at whoever is doing the accounting for them, hold them accountable. Okay. Other than that, I would like to have a motion to approve the claims and warrants, with the exception of Macedon Excavating, and that be conditional upon their approving, providing written confirmation, whatever, that they are in compliance. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have the comp and overtime report. You see that comp time has been used as well as accrued. We have dates for this 7/21 through 8/17, so that encompassed, was that encompassing the Jazz Fest? That time, that was encompassing something.
Yeah,
going on
Jazz
during that.
Festival is on the 22nd,
Right.
so it should have.
So some of the overtime or comp earned had to do with them coming in.
Yep, the overtime we're calling, yes.
Anyone else have a question with that report?
No.
Then moving on, looking at item number 4. Item number 4 is a resolution to adopt section 616 entitled Travel Policy of the Village of Webster Policy Manual as amended. And the change, I believe, what was in question the last time was the hours for partial travel during or less than a full working day. We had leaving before, arriving after, and all of the questions that pertain to that. So a change was made, and I would ask for any comment on it. Right now it reads, if travel duration is less than a full working day, claims for meals may be allowed when appropriate, clerk's discretion within the following time frame. Breakfast 6 a.m. to 11 a.m., lunch 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and dinner 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. One of the things that we struggled with in terms of a discussion about this is, for example, if you are going out to dinner and you might sit down at 6:45, you might wait until 7:15 to 7:30 for someone to actually take your order, and you have, you begin, and by the time you're actually done with dinner and the check is rung up and it's time stamped, it is now 8:30, and you're complaining, but it's 8:30, so that's outside of 5 to 8. So, but you sat down, you were there, prior to. So, I think that's where it would be appropriate in terms of the clerk's discretion within the following time frame, or if that was the case, certainly somebody would be talking about it, and that would be not something that we would not. I know, been there, sitting for a long time, and so. Don, how does that sound? Do you have any particular response in terms of what we came up with here, as opposed to, I know you didn't like the before and after and all of that before?
Well, again,
You'd like to see it all just gone, maybe?
no, and I emailed Heather. The way it's phrased, and the way it's phrased is a little different than your example, because it says claims for meals may be allowed when appropriate at the clerk's discretion. So that means reimbursement for all meals is subject to the clerk's discretion. And if that's a true what, that's fine, but why would it be, if it's within these timeframes, why would it be at the
Right,
clerk's?
so outside the
Why would it be
timeframe.
at the
So
clerk's
we change
discretion?
from within to outside of these timeframes?
Well then,
Don't even take the clerk's discretion out of there.
Well, after
no,
that time frame, it would be your
well, correct, that would be another
Exactly.
sentence that should be added.
Exactly.
So you should say if travel duration is less than a full working day, claims for meals will be allowed, so long as meals are had within the following timeframes. And then I add a sentence, for meals outside of these timeframes, they may be allowed when appropriate at the clerk's discretion.
Right,
Agree.
agreed.
So allowed within the following timeframes, meals submitted outside that time, the time frame would be at the clerk's discretion.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Why he gets paid the.
Because I wouldn't want the clerk to get involved in a dispute with an employee, you know,
Right.
Joe gets approved and Sally doesn't, and why?
Right.
The intent was with outside.
Okay, well then it should say that. Well,
Right.
that's what he said.
Sometimes they add on a per case basis too.
Yeah.
or Because you just said, well, Sally did this and why can't John? So every case is looked at differently. You know what I mean, after the hours.
And
You understand what I'm saying?
any of
If both Sally
Any
and,
abuse.
if both Sally and Joe had a meal within those time frames, they would be looked at differently and maybe treated differently?
No, after those time
Okay, well,
frames and when the
that's different.
discretion is up.
Yeah.
Right.
So someone may have something
Right.
at
So
9
then-
and someone's having something at 2 AM.
So then you should.
On a per basis.
So then it should be changed to say, if travel duration is less than a full working day, claims for meals, you know, will be allowed, so long as the meals are,
Within the time frame.
the meals are had within the following time frame. For meals outside the time frame, they are subject to the clerk's discretion or something like that.
That's it, yes.
So, if travel duration is less than a full working day, claims for meals will be allowed within the following time frame: breakfast 6 AM to 11, lunch, and dinner. Meals outside the time frames will be subject to the clerk's approval.
And reimbursement for meals outside of these time frames.
Reimbursement.
Yes.
Somebody can eat them outside, but they won't necessarily get reimbursed.
Thank you.
Yeah, buy it and put it in the cooler or something.
And then it would seem to me that that first note is kind of superfluous, because trip departure return times, those were referenced in the first or existing version of the policy. Nowhere in any of this do you talk about
The note.
departure or return time, so why is that even there, this one?
Yeah.
In other words, who cares that the departure and return refers to your work location for mileage purposes? This isn't a reimbursement for travel miles, it's a policy for meal reimbursement.
Correct.
So that,
Unless you see some reason why that first note should be there, I would just delete the whole thing.
so that should be moved, because in some cases, private vehicles have been used. So if you're going to claim reimbursement for the mileage that you have using your own vehicle, then you would need that, so that should be in a separate area, right? Not
Yeah,
under
not
meals.
under
Not
heavy
under-
We'll
meals,
put
it should be under
put it in
mileage.
travel mileage or something
Yeah.
along those lines, right?
Just an open spot, right?
Yeah, I don't have the whole policy manual with me, but
Okay.
isn't there a policy on
Yeah.
mileage reimbursement already somewhere? It should be there.
It's the page before, so
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
get,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Is that on the page before? So we can delete that
Okay.
Yeah, just move it to,
if we have that, because there are times people that use their car.
yes.
Maybe this whole thing has to be moved to the
Right.
page, maybe it's not on. Just scroll. Let's see. Yeah, this,
Until we.
no, I think we can solve that
We can take that
and ask this to be removed from the meeting.
and then it needs to be looked at.
Yeah, we moved it into.
Yeah, I agree.
That was early page.
Then let's take out, omit the note. If that needs to be addressed in the previous page, we can do that, but we'll take it out of here, under meals. And I would then leave it as if travel duration, to be voted upon, if travel duration is less than a full working day, claims for meals will be allowed within the following time frame: breakfast, lunch, dinner, 6 to 11, 11 to 3, 5 to 8. Reimbursement for meals outside this time frame, these time frames, will be subject to the clerk's discretion.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So, in light of those changes, I would ask, is there a motion to accept this change, adopt section 616 now as written?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane? Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, we put that one to rest. Okay, looking next at item 5, authorization to allow the village clerk to receive comp time for attending Association of Mayors meetings, as she will be the secretary for 2019. Any comp time earned must be used by the end of 2019, and comp time earned is ineligible to be paid out. Will be time only. Any discussion?
I'm fine with it.
Talked about last meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that, what you guys.
Then I would ask for a motion to authorize the clerk to receive comp time for her attendance as secretary to the Association of Mayors meetings.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And that will be a one-year deal, 2019, won't happen
Yep.
again for 10 years. Yes. Good time. Okay, we move now to the attorney. Don, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, we're moving along and trying to come up with the agreement to provide for the lieu of the line of credit for Brittany Woods. There's a bit of a slowdown because the attorney for the bank, she's in Greece until something like the 24th or something like that, so.
Aren't they on the agenda for the, or are they not?
Yeah.
For the special meeting next week of the
For the
planning board?
planning board, yes, but the planning board is only
Yeah.
there for extending the approvals. They have nothing to do with approving the financial, the actual method of financial security. And my understanding is that Mr. Van Epps has agreed to go back to the original engineer's estimate for the line of credit that was approved by the planning board already, so.
Oh,
And they can make their, I would suggest to them that if they are inclined to extend the approvals for an additional year, that they make that contingent upon him approving this board's, okay on the financial security in lieu of the line of credit. So they can do a conditional approval for the extension. He's-
Attendance of that.
He's gonna wanna come back before this board in 2 weeks. Whether or not we've got final drafts of the necessary documents is, I'm not so sure, given that the attorney for Lakeshore Savings Bank is out of the country until like the 24th.
Well, he wants to come to us on the 27th.
He does, because he's anxious to move forward with the project before the weather gets lousy in the winter.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Clerk's office. Anybody have anything?
Not really this time. Thank you.
Then, Jake?
North Avenue, project is progressing. They started doing some stone work today. They're getting the limestone on. They started doing a little bit of the stone on the backside of that sign. The cobblestones are kind of a slower process because, you know, you lay up so many courses before you have to stop and that's gonna dry and then you can add to it, so. And they're granite limestone, so they don't, or granite cobblestone, so they don't absorb quite as fast as a sandstone one.
We began that today.
Yes, so you can check out the back of the sign, there's some on there now, and they'll be working on it again tomorrow. Curtis Park, from Meadow to Fuller, the gutters are replaced, we did a cold recycle on that last week, and that's gone down another, I'm right now scheduled for the 24th is we put a top coat of hot mix asphalt on after. I gotta wait a couple weeks, so that's scheduled right now for the 24th, weather pending. And then we'll be at everybody's hair on Curtis Park. The residents have been wonderful, very cooperative, and everybody, you know, and part of the project, it's really worked out nice. It's gonna be a nice road there, that section. Just a reminder for brush pickup, we're doing it this week. We should have had it all out by Sunday evening for us to go through the village one time. And if there's ever any questions about what can go in the piles, that's on our website. But real quick, you know, thorns and viney things can't go in. They just get simply, they'll get wrapped up around the drum, and it's kind of dangerous. But you know, especially the vines, so those kind of things can't go in. Nothing with roots on it or dirt. No lumber, can't put 2x4s through it. But those things, but they're about wrapped up now. But just we had a little discussion today on one of the files, so just want to make sure everybody's aware. You can see that online. That's good.
I would like to say thank you to Mr. Duff and Mr. Pico for allowing the village to use the property for the cold paving,
Yeah.
to mix, take the stone there to mix and all of that.
Yeah, it's a really neat process. If you're not familiar, they go through and they take out 4 or 5 inches of the road, mill that out, it's hauled off site. We have additional clean stone that's there. Based on what they did on the course, they blend it back through, add more binder, mix it up, and that goes out onto the ground. They're scooped up back in the trucks. You know, this is the next day. They do milling one day, the next day it's they're putting it back in the trucks and laying it back down. And then since it's cold, it takes a while. So I get through, we roll it, and you know, driving on it, and kind of some of the oils come out a little bit. So then you know, you're better when you have the hot mix going on top, and that gives you a nice smooth surface. So that's a neat process, and basically it's a new road, new base in the road for a fraction of what it would be, and we're not, you know, we get to recycle the material, so it's good.
And you guys cleaned up around the museum, that whole area, thank you.
Yes, we did.
Oh, along the fence line and the parking?
Yeah, well, and along, yes, even their parking lot in the front. They took out the tree that I was parking next to.
Well, we're just waiting for you to move your car.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, it looks good. What is that frame in the back? There's a frame laying up against the fence, the back fence.
I'm unaware of what frame.
I think it looks like it's metal. I haven't walked all the way back there.
I'll have to take a peek, I'll try to
Yeah.
peek it away home. Up here in the south parking lot?
Yeah, the south and the back part.
Huh.
It was up on the side, and then now I see it is back there, so I don't know what it is.
The other question that I had, Jake, is the lights, have you been in contact with RG&E about the Cobra head lights and shutting those off now that we have the lower lights there?
Yes, I did. I sent an email to them, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It was earlier this week. I sent an email to them about making sure those get disconnected now that, now that the pedestrian scale ones, the post lights are in and operating. And I don't believe I've heard back from that, but it was the request went in June, and I said, well, hold off until, and we don't want to make it too dark down there, so hold off until after the new ones are in. And they're also waiting for RG&E, contractor and the state and me, everyone has asked, there's a telephone pole in the middle of the sidewalk. They can't move it because they have a gas line right behind the sidewalk. So now they had to send it to their right-of-way group, which takes a couple months, I guess. This is, it's a couple months ago. Hopefully it sounds like last I heard on that, they're getting the sketch out so that can go, we can replace that one section of the sidewalk where the telephone pole is, because it'll make it a challenge, to say the least, to snowplow that sidewalk on North Ave, with the pole in the middle of it. So hopefully they get it done soon. They respond to emergencies very fast, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, let's see, what do we have coming up? Trick or Treat Trail, that's on my notes here, but that's in October. But you might wish to get your dogs all ready.
Yep.
Think of the costume for your pet. And there will be a contest for the best dressed pup, I guess. So more information on that will be coming. Our next meeting will be the 27th. We will be having a presentation by Laura Landers on the 27th in terms of the results of the 2017 audit. And she will be here to present that, as well as I believe Mr. Van Epps may be asking to come before the board as well, and other items that are necessary for the maintenance and well-being of the village. So if there's any other items you guys want to bring up?
Treasurer did tell me that she was going to be getting that to the board as soon as she has it. So, okay, good.
So in that case, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you very much for coming this evening. We appreciate the attendance and also watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. For your info, sometime in August or October, we will be contacted by the town, probably for discussion. We haven't heard that.
Well, yeah, why would we not?
Well, they say that they're
Seriously, this has been a long time, that's not
We've
like.
had it, yeah, I know. So,
they don't like to.
we need to have a discussion prior to
Well,
that.
yeah.
This here?
Sarah left it, or someone did.
This represents the breakaway line.
She's not right.
Why we never?
I've got
So we hired her.
for this house.
Or
That's
we
just
the
you
audit
can't.
report, we will be in the-
There were a couple.
No, from Laurel.
Only took us 3 months to get it by LinkedIn.
I regretted that very much.
You may regret answering that, period.
But,
No, I don't. Well,
these
you guys-
trees,
I tried to
when
read
you
it
bought the
again.
house, they told their village trees as well.
what
They
the
actually,
increase
they are,
is.
and I
You
think you
really
might
get
have to be
a
outside the
straight answer
roadway.
out of Peter.
And she said,
Baker.
from
what I read,
more because they were.
It's an increase of,
This was interesting.
the two numbers that add together.
You see-
It's an increase of like
I can't work on Friday.
40.
That West Main, that's what the issue, because they serve just like the ones on West Main Street. serve as
That's
a
what I was
purpose.
gonna increase.
You been feeling
Copy
good?
and paste what they did on there. But basically.
Yeah, we're back to where.
So I'm looking